Hello, this is Mr. Chabry, and recently people have found the beta version of Gold and Silver. So the cool thing about that is it gives us some more ideas about the behind the scenes and the creating of the second generation. A lot of Pokemon that have been found in this beta are actually not in Generation 2. There's a few of them that seem like that look like they inspire some Generation 3 Pokemon, and some of them even seem like Generation 4 Pokemon. To give you an idea of how far back some of these designs that came out in Generation 4 and 3 were, and even one is considered maybe a 5th generation prototype, but all of these are prototypes from the prototype of the Gold and Silver. I'm saying prototype too many times, but yeah, a lot of these never made it into Gold and Silver, and we're going to actually look at some of these Pokemon. It is pretty cool what we have found. So here is the list of Pokemon that was found in here. Of course, we have all the Kanto Pokemon, and if you notice, the sprites from the demo version looked like they could use some cleaning up, and they did clean them up. There's some of them. What's been said is some of these sprites are actually ripped right out of the Japanese Pokemon Blue, which is actually older than Pokemon Yellow. So that's why some of these sprites here look more like Generation 1 sprites, and even Pokemon Yellow cleaned up a lot of the Gen 1 sprites. Some of these are still rocking their pre-yellow sprites. So let's scroll through here. Of course, all of the Kanto Pokemon are here. The only difference is some of them have slightly different like things. So right here, like Kingler, of course, it is the Gen 1 sprite, and they changed it to Gen 2 sprites. But we're not interested in the Kanto Pokemon. What we are interested in is the Johto Pokemon. So once we get down here to Chikorita, right away you can see some differences over here on the demo side. And a thing to keep in mind is all these are arranged by the dex number. So some of these are not going to match up. You're going to see as we scroll through, it's not going to show their final form in the game. It's going to show what Pokemon had this dex number in the final game. So over here in the demo version, instead of Chikorita, it was Happa, or Americanized or anglicized would be Leaf. And over here, you notice this is not Bayleaf. This is Blossomole, so it looks totally different. Totally different. We could pull it up a little bit, see if this makes it a little bit bigger. I'll let that load while we're staring at this. But anyway, yeah, this is Blossomole. Notice it does look totally different. It doesn't really seem like it would fit in between these two, and that might be why they changed it. We have like a quadruped, and then this thing here that just is attached by a stem. So I don't know exactly. That's not going to load at all. I don't know exactly why this was. I guess it was just so early on they didn't think about that. But I do like Bayleaf here. It does look a lot better. Instead of Meganium, it's Blossomite. These are the original names over here. The Leaf, Blossomole, Blossomite. And instead of Cyndaquil and Typhlosion, Typhlosion is my favorite Pokemon. Instead of those, we had Flambear, Volbear, and Dynabear. So this is actually a Pokemon. These starters are actually well known. Of course, Happa, Hanaguma is what it's known as, and Karusu. There you can find a lot of fan art from people basically drawing from memory a lot of these Pokemon. Of course, this actually disproves the original idea of what Happa would have looked like, because we have an actual clear image that Chikorita never really looked different throughout its history. This is in 1997. Keep that in mind. This was before Yellow was even out. But anyway, we got Flambear, Volbear, Dynabear, and down here we have Cruz, Aqua, and Aquaria. And a thing to keep in mind about these starters, and a lot of these Pokemon, or some of the designs that didn't make it here, actually got redesigned, reworked into other Pokemon. So a lot of people are thinking Flambear later on got redesigned into Teddiursa. So I guess that would make sense. You look at it, it does have a little resemblance to Teddiursa. And here we have these, and a lot of people are saying these probably got reworked actually into the Generation 7 water starter Popplio, Brion, and Primarina. And that would make sense because Area, which is in Aquaria, that is that is basically a musical pun, and Primarina is known as a singing Pokemon. Here we have Hoot Hoot, which the only difference between Hoot Hoot is it doesn't have the lines connecting these little dots here, and we have Hoo Hoo, which is the original version of Noctowl. So I do think Noctowl looks a lot better because, I mean, I could see this looking really nice though. But yeah, you can see right here, it looks totally different than Noctowl. We'll scroll down a little bit more. Instead of Mareep, we have Bass Spark, and then Flaffy Ampharos are here. Over here, this is actually a pre-evolution to Vulpix, and this is Trifox. So a lot of these Pokemon had, these Kanto Pokemon had pre-evolutions here in the original Johto games. So this was Trifox. This is Tangle. This is a pre-evolution to Tangela. So Tangela not only had a pre-evolution here, but it also had an evolution, Galania, or Galanla. Yeah, Galanla. And Galanla, actually, this design got reworked into Tangrowth. So basically, Tangrowth has its ties all the way back to Generation 2, and Tangela never got a pre-evolution. I'm not sure about Rayleap here. This one does look totally different. It looks like a flying type, if I had to guess. But yeah, this one actually looks pretty interesting. I don't know exactly what it got reworked into, but it looks totally like unlike anything we've seen in the Pokemon game. So I mean, there is a chance that some of these that didn't get used might get reworked into something. So keep that in mind. And actually, a lot of people are saying Tangle, like the idea of this design here, might got reworked into Badoo. So take that with a grain of salt, because yeah, I mean, some of these probably do have ties. Here we have the original version of Quillfish. It looks totally the same. The only difference is his name is Babul, and then it had an evolution name, Numpuff. So Numpuff here, a lot of people are saying this design probably got later reworked into Stunfisk. As you can see here, it has some of the same things that Stunfisk has. Quillfish has, yeah, it has this tail right here. It's got this derpy expression, and that does seem a lot like Stunfisk right here. I could see that. Here we have the original version of Pichu. So if you notice, Pichu is a little bit rounder than in the actual game. And then Cleffa has a totally different look. It's got, instead of the swirl of hair, it's got like an antenna. And its ears are not just different colored. And then Igglybuff does not have the fluff of hair on the top. It's just a round circle with eyes, and it's got the swirly though. Lancefish, which later on became Quagsire. You can see here, it is its own Pokemon. It has no pre-evolution. There's no Wooper here. It's just Quagsire. Here we have Natu Zatu. Not much change between these two. And then here we have Gulpy. So Gulpy is actually a pre-evolution to Goldeen. We also have Meryl. And then these three are their own evolution chain. So we have Sunmola, Anchorage, and Grotesque. And the cool thing about Grotesque, if you look here, you'll notice this actually got reworked into Huntel. So yeah, this totally got reworked into Huntel. But Huntel has ties to Generation 2. And this, you could probably see a little bit of Sharpedo here. Or Sharpedo does not have this back thing. You could say this is Sharpedo, but with an anchor attached to the back. Because look at that. It looks totally like a Sharpedo. Here we have Crobat, but its name was Exing. Paris, or this is a pre-evolution to Paris. Para, so if you look here, it's like a bug creature crawling out of a mushroom. Beneath that, we have Spidette, the original version of Spinarak, and then Two-Head. So Two-Head is Ariados's original version. It does look it looks a lot different. Ariados actually has longer, more slender legs. I don't know if they've got it over on this side, easy to find, but I'll probably come across it soon. Oh, right here it is. Yeah, totally different. Yeah, some of these you can see the ideas popping up, but not being finalized. Here, Armorhawk instead of Skarmory. An Animon right here is actually a Ditto evolution. So the way you would evolve Ditto is actually use the metal coat and trade it. So I guess this would actually be a steel type Ditto. I don't know exactly what they would have done different, because the only move it knows is transform. So I don't know the real reason of getting an evolution to Ditto. Here we have Chicks, which is a pre-evolution of Doduo. You see it actually has 3 heads, but it's got a floof body. Here we have Sunny, which is the original version of Sunflora. So it does not have a pre-evolution. It is its own Pokemon here. Trumpet was replaced by Phanpy. You see the basic idea is still there. It's just a baby elephant. This one has like a little round spot on its head, and it's sitting. And then Donphan is here. So Donphan didn't really have any change. Here we have twins, and these two are actually a psychic type. They're attached together, but then twins evolves into Girafarig. So Girafarig has a pre-evolution. If you notice Girafarig's design here, it's actually got another head right here. So this is totally a different head for Girafarig. It's another giraffe head. And on the back sprite, I don't know if we've got one with the back sprite up here, but the back sprite is this other head looking evil. So that's pretty cool. Paintern instead of Smeargle. Meowsy, which is a pre-evolution to Meowth. So in this version, Meowth had a pre-evolution. Rinring and Belvoyant is their own cat Pokemon. And then here's the original version of Politoed. You could tell this looks quite different. It's not really sitting. It's more of, it looks closer to what, I guess, it looks closer to Poliwrath, I would have to say. And then Slowking, and Slowking was originally the evolution to Slowbro. So you have Slowpoke, Slowbro, and then Slowking originally. You have Unknown Ladybug and Tripstar. So instead of Ladian, it is Tripstar. We have Minicorn, which is the pre-evolution to Ponyta, or Ponyta, and Rapidash. Espeon, which the only difference really between this Espeon and the final Espeon is in this Espeon, besides the tail looks a little, but in this Espeon was actually yellow. That's something people are pointing out. The actual Espeon was yellow originally. Here we have Umbreon, and Umbreon actually has like evil looking eyes if you see it. But actually, originally, Umbreon in this demo version is a poison type. It is not a dark type. It is a poison type. It is actually evolved through a stone that they took out called the Poison Stone. So there's a few Pokemon that do have evolutions from the Poison Stone. We'll go through that. And then, of course, this is actually evolved by the Heartstone. So what was the Heartstone got turned into... well, I guess it was like I don't know exactly. I think it's like the psychic type version of, Leaf Stone. We have a Heartstone and a Poison Stone. But originally this was evolved through Heartstone, and this was the Poison Stone. I think that's pretty interesting. I guess maybe later on they added friendship to the Pokemon. And we already passed Blossom. I'm not sure. When we get to Blossom, I'll talk a little bit more about Blossom. But here we have Turban. This was basically the thing that bites onto Slowbro's tail. So my guess is the reason they decided to get rid of Turban here is because in the anime they would say it was a Shelter, but apparently it was planned to be its own Pokemon. A Turban bites on the tail of Slowpoke, and you get a Slowbro. But this one ended up getting tossed aside. Grimy, which is the pre-evolution of Grimer. And then we have Remoraid and Octillery here. Octillery has more of a helmet design here. We have Gong, which is the original version of Tyrogue. And then we have Hitmontop. So if you notice, Hitmontop looks totally different. If you look here, you can see eyes right here. And it has a third eye down here. And this is actually its head. So it spins around, and then it has like these kickers. They look almost like feet, but they're actually on its head. And I actually do like the version of Hitmontop that we did get. I do think that's a lot better. Here we have Putty, which is the pre-evolution of Growlithe, Clefmew, Dandamew, and Cottonmew, which is, of course, Hoppip and its evolutions. You notice they don't actually have legs in this one. I do think it looks better with legs. Yeah, and Cottony looks a lot better as it is. I don't know if we skip, or, yeah, it's up here. Yeah, so you can see right here, they do not have feet or legs. They just bounce around on their tail. And I don't know if they would be flying type in this point. We can look at that, because I've got that somewhere up here too. Down here, Ballerine, which is actually the pre-evolution of Mr. Mime. So, Mime Jr. has ties all the way back to Generation 2. This is where we're getting into some Pokemon that have ties to Gen 2. Or all the way, like the idea carried on into Gen 4, where they were introduced. Of course, we saw Tangrowth. But here is Mime Jr., and they still have the hat right here. This does look a little bit more round than Mime Jr. Here is Lip, which is a pre-evolution of Jinx. It later became Smoochum. Ella Bebe, which became Ella Kid. And Magby, which looks the most... Well, I mean, there are some differences between this, and we probably passed Magby up here. No, we probably didn't. But anyway, yeah, Magby, which is right here. And then Blossom. So Blossom was originally a poison grass type, just like its pre-evolution, just like Vileplume. And it was evolved using a Poison Stone. So, I guess the idea there is the Leaf Stone, you get Vileplume. Poison Stone, you get Blossom. And they ended up changing that to just pure grass and use the Sunstone instead. Here is Belmont, and Belmont was actually a split evolution for Weeping Bell. So this was also evolved using the Poison Stone. You use the Leaf Stone to get Victory Bell, Poison Stone for Belmont. And you do notice this does look more like a Bellsprout. And my guess is, like in the original, they might have originally planned for this to be like seen a lot at the Bellsprout Tower, because it's easy to think of this thing growing and having the Bellsprout Tower built around it. But that's probably what they originally thought. Here we have a Miltank that looks actually a lot bigger than the Miltank we got. And then this is Bombseeker. Bombseeker is a Seal Pokemon, and it's got Fireball up here. So I would actually guess that this would have been a Water-Fire type. That's what I would have guessed this thing would be. A Water-Fire type in Generation 2, and they ended up scrapping it. Here we have a Pokemon called Gift, which became Delibird, but you can see it actually has a Santa hat. That's the biggest difference. It has a Santa hat in this version. Here we have Tigrettes and Electric Tiger. Tigrette and Electriger are electric type tigers. They're like cutesy tigers. And they're kind of chubby and stuff. And I do remember now reading on that thing up here, this Pokemon up here, Rayleap was actually the original design for Mantine. So that design later became Mantine. But I don't know, it kind of looks a lot different. But I guess I could see the idea. But yeah, and then we have Madame, which is the evolution to Farfetch. So Farfetch originally had an evolution where it would have a mask, and instead of a leek stick, it would have a baton. Here we have Kurtstraw, which the design later went on to become Banette and Shuppet. So you can see here, this is like a little puppet toy, has like a pin shoved through it. Pretty easy to guess this would be a ghost type. Here we have Pangshi, so this would be a panda Pokemon in Generation 2. And Murkrow looks almost the same, the only difference is its hat actually has like a curl right here. And Happy is actually the original version of Blissey. So this was the evolution to Chansey. And you can see it looks a lot different. It has a heart instead of just frills around it. Here we have Caesar, or Caesars. This was, of course, Scyther's evolution. And originally it was a bug and flying type. So that's actually pretty cool. And And then Plux right here is the original design idea for Heracross. And also, this was the evolution to Pinsir. So you could see like some Pinsir elements here, like the arms, stuff like that. But yeah, originally Pinsir had an evolution. We have Devil and Houndoom. Houndoom's basically the same. The only difference is it's looking at you, and here it's looking ahead. But originally, these two were just fire types. They were just fire types, no dark types. There were dark type Pokemon, but there weren't that many in the original. Here we have Wolfman and Warwolf, and the designs of these later got reworked into Piloswine and Piloswine and Snubble, not Snubble, Swinub, that's what I meant to say. Piloswine and Swinub. This right here, if you notice, is Porygon 2's original design, and it looks totally different. It is basically a lion, it looks like. This is actually based off a Japanese donut shop logo, and they changed it because they didn't want to get sued by them. But I do like the Porygon 2 we got better. This is Lick right here. Lick is the evolution to Lickitung. So the idea of giving Lickitung an evolution is all the way here. I do think this would have been better than the Licky we got, because Licky is kind of not really that good of a design. Steelix looks exactly the same, but the Kingdra had claws at one time. So, yeah, this thing used to have claws. And then here we get to some Pokemon. I'm glad they changed, because these designs look kind of disappointing. We have Rai, In, and then Sui, and it's pretty easy to see what they became. Instead of Rai, we have Raikou, Entei, and the Suicune. But you can see they're actually dogs. It's not like these Pokemon where they might be dogs, they might be cats, we don't know. But these would have been the legendary beast, and looking at that, they're kind of disappointing. I mean, their designs are kind of sad looking. Like, especially Suicune's original design. Here it looks like it's prepared for a battle. Here it's just sitting there. You can't even see its face. It looks kind of disappointing. It almost looks like a My Little Pony character. Here we have the original version of Sneasel. So Sneasel was originally just a dark type, and it looked more like a cat. It looked less like whatever it looks like now. I don't know what you would say Sneasel is now. Right here, it's got like a weird thing, but I do like the one we got because this does look kind of odd. Then Ho-Oh is here. We have a Ho-Oh, and Ho-Oh was originally a pure flying type, so not flying fire, but just flying type. I think it's cool that they changed it to flying fire. But then we have Togepi, Snubble, Tail, which became Abom, and then the last one is Leafeon. So originally Leafeon was originally intended for Generation 2. And then here are some artist rendition of what they would look like with color. Of course, some of these are wrong because we know Espeon is yellow in the actual beta. But, I mean, this is pretty good. It's nice to have some color on here. I mean, for some of them, it would be hard to know what color they would be without the actual colors being found in the game. Because they they know that their colors are there, but they just haven't cracked that code yet to find the sprites with all the colors. But some of them are pretty cool. I think the actual thing said the original Meryl might have been pink too. But here we have, like, it does look pretty nice here. Seeing this. Yeah. And then we're going to go and look at this right here. This is the evolution line of if these Pokemon were all introduced as they were. Of course, we have Pichu here, Meowsy here, Igglybuff and Cleffa, and then we have Velmet right here. We have a split evolution here, split evolution here as well, and then Baby Growlithe, Baby Vulpix, Baby Ponyta, Paris, and Doduo, Grimer. I think what happened was they decided they were putting too many baby Pokemon, and they'd rather have, you know, some other good Pokemon that can stand on their own. But yeah, we got a lot of baby Pokemon here. Got and then Goldine's baby form. And then we have here Slowking after Slowbro. So this was what the evolution was originally meant to be. And here is Tangela's family. These three are pretty the same, or yeah, these five here are the same. We got Lick here, Ballerine here. Farfetch's evolution here. We have early Blissey, then Hitmontop down here, and this thing splits into 3. We got Caesar, and then Pinsir evolves into this thing right here. Then we have, Jinx, Electabuzz, Magmar. Then Ditto's evolution, Porygon's evolution, and then Eevee's got this split evolution between 6. Vaporeon, Jolteon, Flareon, Espeon, Umbreon, and then Leafeon. So I think it's actually pretty cool knowing that Leafeon has ties all the way back to Generation 2. So anyway, that's going to be our thing talking about, like, here's actually where it's got more information right here. We got Girafarig was originally going to be Dark and Normal type, so they changed it to Psychic Normal. Umbreon, Poison, of course we already went through that. Slowbro Shell was meant to be its own Pokemon. Ampharos was Electric type in the demo, not Electric Dragon like a pamphlet said. So apparently the pamphlet did say something totally different. The pamphlet that they gave out at this time, totally different. Smoochum was Pure Ice, and Flora was Grass Psychic. And then just talking about all the evolutions that they had. The baby Pokemon all evolved at level 12 originally. So instead of evolving through happiness, they evolved at level 12. Murkrow's hat was different. Sneasel, Pure Dark. Ho-Oh, Flying. Togepi had no evolution. Snubbull was actually going to be a Psychic type originally. Caesar was going to be Bug Flying. Houndour, Houndoom was going to be Pure Fire. Blossom was Grass Poison. And then Politoed, Xatu, and Espeon evolved through the Heartstone. Umbreon, Gloom, and Weeping Bell's branch evolution evolved from the Poison Stone. And then also Slowking was supposed to evolve from Slowbro. And here's got some more things. Like, some Pokemon are exactly the same. Spinarak, Skarmory, Donphan. But yeah, these are pretty interesting. Right here, I mean, we got... Yeah, these are really cool seeing this. But anyway, this is basically what we're going to talk about here. That's all we're going to talk about here, because this was just us talking about the Pokemon that were in this. Of course, there's actually an in-game map that we're going to talk about next time. I just wanted to go into depth about the actual individual Pokemon, because, I think these are actually really cool to look at. It's really interesting to know what Pokemon could have been different, what Pokemon could have been introduced in earlier generations, like Leafeon, Gen 2, that would have blown my mind, but they got in Gen 4 all the way. Some of these designs came out later on, even all the way to Generation 7 with the prototype of Primarina. But go ahead and like this. Next time we're going to look into depth about the map. I'll see you there.